Okay. All right. So I call this meeting of Hamtramck City Council to order. Today is Tuesday, November 22. It's 7:03. Would the clerk call the rolls, please?
Councilman Rafai?
Present.
Councilwoman Jakowski?
Present.
Councilman Chowdhury?
Present.
Councilman Al-Samiri?
Yeah, present.
Councilman Hassan?
Present.
Councilman Al-Barmaki is not present. Mr. Mayor?
Present.
Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any community announcement?
Mr. Mayor, I have one.
Yes.
Hamtramck Mutual Aid, along with a few other partner organizations, are doing the snow shoveling assistance program again this year. One of the things that Hamtramck Mutual Aid is looking for is more partner organizations. They're looking for Hamtramck-based organizations to commit 3 volunteers to help with that program to make sure that we can meet the need for seniors and disabled people this winter. So if you have an organization that can provide 3 or more volunteers and want to be recognized as a co-sponsor of the event, you can email mutualaidhamtramck@gmail.com, and that discussion can be held. And that's also a note for seniors and disabled people to be aware that that sign up is live, and you can find it on various parts of Facebook, and if not, you can email the same address and we'll get you the form.
Thank you. Any more announcements? All right. We'll move to the proclamations, recognitions, and presentations, and there is none. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I would ask the council to remove Resolution B from new business, read it from the agenda.
Which is resolution
Approving the appointment of Stephen Kaliba as Chief Financial Officer and Controller.
I'll motion.
Second.
So,
All in
this
favor?
resolution is
Aye.
All in favor, Mayor?
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Mr. Mayor, if they're all in favor, please.
Everyone's in favor, right?
Yes.
Thank
No
you.
objections? All right, so resolution is removed.
Mr. Chair, I also like to remove Resolution F, please. The agenda of tonight.
Second.
The second.
All right. That's the acceptance of first reading and setting the date for the public hearing, and second reading to add inspection of residential dwelling prior to sale or transfer to Hamtramck City Code. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No objections? All right, so this one also is removed. Any other deletions or additions?
No.
All right. Okay, so we move to the public input then.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me clear my throat. There's a lot of them tonight. I'm going to start with the emailed public comments first, and then we'll go ahead with the residents that are currently here with us. Okay, so this one is Allie McKenzie from Danforth Street. I just turned on my mic. I'm going to repeat myself. This is Allie McKenzie, Danforth Street. Hello, council members. I would like to express my concerns about the mental fitness to serve some council members on this council. Councilman Chowdhury was at a Bangladeshi organized event in Warren about 10 days ago. The organizers set the rules for the audience to write their comments. Councilman Chowdhury showed up late for the program and demanded to be recognized and allowed to speak at the podium. This resulted in a shoving and screaming match and showed how immature the Hamtramck councilman is. This is a shame for the community. On the other hand, some council members that lost the 2021 election and never been back to the city. My brother, a neighbor of a councilman that is going to be considered to fill Mr. Al-Barmaki's position. This councilman never lived in Hamtramck and was never seen after he lost. I worry for Hamtramck how these people are so passionate to be the councilman, but don't even have the time to live in Hamtramck. Hamtramck deserves better public servants. Sincerely, Ellie McKenzie. Hello, my name is Ahmad Ali, living on Holm Street. I want to submit my comment concerning the resolution 22-142 concerning inspections before the sale of a house. Although the resolution was removed, I'm still going to give them the right to read these comments, okay? I would love it if you would exclude vacant properties, as many Muslims who can't buy houses because of interest buy broken down homes and fix them in the span of years, as I personally have done and many other homeowners have done, and now have full houses that are safe and with new electric and plumbing systems. Requiring houses to be fixed in 6 months will put an undue burden on Muslim home buyers who buy houses gutted and save up to fix them up. If anything, please allow the sale. And when the water is to be turned on, to do the inspection. That is one way to go. Require inspection before turning on the water. I would like to also voice my support for the updated animal resolution 2278 to allow animal slaughter during the Eid holidays. This is a great step towards religious freedom and should be applauded. Thank you. This is from Ian Ingram. 2 agenda items slated for tonight's meeting have been brought to my attention. As I'm otherwise engaged tonight, I would ask that you accept my comments by email to be read at the meeting. The first issue is a proposal by Councilmember El Samiri to change the inspection period for rental properties in the city from 2 years to 3 years. It is my understanding that the council member owns a considerable amount of rental properties in the city and claims that these inspections are a burden to landlords. Simply put, this is nonsense. We do not skip health department inspections because they interfere with day-to-day operations of food service. Hospitals and clinics are subject to inspections at any given time, and most industries are subject to OSHA and MIOSHA inspections at the agency's discretion. There is no legitimate reason to lower the standards for rental housing in Hamtramck, especially in the face of rising property values and increasing rents. Furthermore, this proposal at a minimum appears to be a conflict of interest in which the council member is holding his convenience in higher regard than the safety of his renters and his neighbors. Frankly, this member should resign immediately, as it appears that he is on the council not to represent the citizens of Hamtramck, rather his own business interest. The second issue I would like to address is the proposed edit to the animal ordinance to allow animal sacrifice for religious purposes. This is a foolish idea which has the potential to expose the city to an assortment of lawsuits. I'm fairly confident that most of you would agree that our tax dollars are better spent preserving and improving the infrastructure of the city than attorney fees and court costs due to foolish ordinances. Thank you for your time and consideration. Ian Ingram. Ali Clegg. I am a longtime resident of Hamtramck. I do not approve of animal slaughter in the residential alleys and backyards. The animal waste and discarded innards are a serious threat to the health of our community and public health issue. The city does not have enough staff to enforce proper disposal of these hazardous materials, so they are being handled and disposed of in a sanitary and safe way that meets the state of Michigan health and safety rules for meat handling and disposal. Public health issues must be well researched to ensure that these decisions are made with sound public health interests in mind. Animal waste and cross-contamination is well-documented health hazard, and this is why it is prohibited, not for religious suppression. It is for the health of everyone, children and elderly in particular. Please see these. He gave me some links. Obviously, I'm not going to read out the website links, but if anybody's interested in wanting the links, email me. I can send you a copy. And those are from Ali Clegg, Hamtramck resident. Sarah Terrian. Hello, I was at July council meeting and spoke about the possibility of allowing... I was at July council meeting and spoke about the possibility of allowing animal sacrifice for private residents. I am disappointed that this issue continues to be unresolved. As a resident of nearly 10 years, I have had to defend Hamtramck to those who think it's not a good place to live. These people are often misguided by xenophobia or lack of knowledge of this awesome place I call home. I will no longer be able to defend my city if the council will allow animal slaughter on private property. This unsanitary practice should not be allowed. People should be allowed to practice their faith, but when these customs put others at risk of public health crisis, those in power need to consider the impact. A place like Hamtramck, which is so densely populated, already has sanitation issues. I don't think anyone else I don't think allowing someone to kill an animal in their yard would be sanitary. As someone who is an animal advocate, I'm horrified by the idea that I might be forced to see things that I find disturbing and traumatizing. This is something that licensed butchers should be doing, for the safety of everyone. I would also argue that seeing animal slaughter would also send children the message that it is okay to hurt animals. I don't want to raise a family in a place that doesn't embrace my values, and if this ordinance passes, I will no longer call Hamtramck my home. Thank you, Sarah. Natasha Foreman. I cannot attend tonight's meeting, but I am a resident of Hamtramck, and I do not want animal sacrifices to take place in the open or anywhere besides designated indoor sanitary slaughterhouses that can be inspected and monitored properly. I also read that inspections for rental properties are to be considered expanding from every 2 years to every 3 years, and I feel that this prolongs the already dangerous situation of landlords putting off repairs and updates as long as they can get away with it. Rental properties all over the city are in various stages of disrepair already, and given that at least one councilman owns several rental properties and stands to benefit from this, I see a conflict of interest. Every 2 years is reasonable. If landlords are decent, they have nothing to worry about. Thank you, Natasha Foreman. Corey Duff. On topic of rental inspections being moved from every 2 years to every 3 years. If a landlord doesn't have the time to run their rental home business and feels that having a home inspection to be sure that their tenants are living in a home that is properly up to code, then they have too many properties. Such landlords should divest some of these properties, maybe to the tenants. Also, homes falling into despair is a reason other properties are seen to be artificially overvalued. Keeping the inspections every 2 years keeps the housing market vital and the values of the market rising. On the topic of ritual animal sacrifice, who will be ensuring that the animals are sacrificed humanely? Who will pay for the person to be sure the animal is sacrificed humanely? Will there be permits on the property so that the home can be inspected prior to and after the sacrifice? Who will pay for the inspectors? If the property is not properly cleaned after the sacrifice, causing odor to contaminate the air, or causing a food source for rodents, who is responsible for cleanup? Is it legal to sacrifice animals in Michigan without a hunting permit? Would this be considered hunting? Can sacrifices only take place during hunting season? Has there been a discussion with the Michigan Anti-Cruelty Society to find out about their protections? Has anyone considered the mental ramifications on children watching the sacrifice of any animal? What happens if someone tries to practice on a neighborhood animal? My grandparents raised their own food in their own country. When their families came here, they stopped that practice because they lived in the city, not a farm. There are services and a clean environment where these sacrifices can be done. The neighborhood children shouldn't be taught this barbarism. Besides, sounds like people are trying to save money by doing this themselves. I'm afraid of the shortcuts one would take and pollute the neighborhood in the meantime. Joanne Subchuk. To whom it may concern, in regards to the introduction of animal sacrifice during a Muslim holiday, I wish that council would consider the idea that this is America and not the Middle East. I thought people came here for freedom of religion, but also to respect the laws of American people. Animal rights laws do not allow residents to kill an animal in the neighborhood. We don't spend years drafting federal laws on this topic of anti-cruelty just for Hamtramck to come up with something hundreds of years old. I thought the people of Hamtramck came here for this freedom, but also to live a more progressive life and not something centuries ago. Don't get me wrong, I believe that halal food is more humane than meat from an American slaughterhouse, but allowing a resident who has absolutely no concept of what they may be doing in regards to animal cruelty is to just kill an animal in front of other people in the neighborhood while many in this community are trying to save local animals would be total disregard for American neighbors who do not support this type of idea. Please don't put Hamtramck on the map by looking ridiculous and giving the suburbs something to say, like they don't have enough. Joni Subchuk. Veronica Lewis. Please do not approve the ordinance allowing animal slaughter at people's homes. Hamtramck is much too densely populated for this to be a safe or sanitary practice. As a longtime resident of Hamtramck who always votes, I urge you to vote no. Veronica Lewis, McDougal Street. And that is it for emails. Ms. Len Blasi, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I also have comments on Resolution 2022-78 regarding the animal ordinance.
Thank you.
I'll start over. My time
All
starts
right,
over.
I'll start your time over.
Hi, Mayor and Council. I also have comment on Resolution 2022-78 regarding the changes to the animal ordinance. Just as I support freedom of religion, I think we also need to support freedom from religion. When one religion is preferenced over any other practice or community, then inequity is apparent. And the best way to respect all residents in all religions and all community members in our extremely diverse city is to not pass this resolution as it stands. If we pass something now that favors any religion or any specific practice, then later, if we try to ban it, then we will be open to lawsuits, because then it would become religious prosecution and not allowing people. As it stands, it's not on our books to allow this. Opening it up to allow it would produce dire consequences that I would love our city to avoid in the future. Resolution 2022-137, I just want to publicly thank Councilman Albemarle for his service these last few months. It was a pleasure running with him last year, getting to know him, and I know he put a lot of work into the time he did serve on council. And lastly, resolutions 2022-144 and 146, kind of lumping those together. I'm really grateful, I've commented this a lot, to see the improvements in the work we're doing on Veterans Park, and I fully support both of those resolutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Len. Mohammed Al-Gahim, Hamtramck resident, 3 minutes, sir.
Hello, good evening. On September 29th, my mom had a ticket for some weeds in the alley. And the problem is that the ticket was under my name. I have not lived in the house for like 5-6 years, so why would the ticket be under my name? I feel like the city code's the code enforcement not doing their job properly. And also when she called the court to like, do they have to be there since I own the house? They're like, no, you have to be there, you could just attend. And when she attended the meeting, the judge said that, where's Mohammed? Like, well, he's not here because I own the house. So she's like, well, I'm not gonna talk to you. It's a shame that he sent you instead of her, even though my mom's trying to explain to her that I own the house. So she's like, well, I'm not gonna see you. You can reschedule an appointment for him, not for her. So I wanna know like what's going on with the city. I feel like, 5 years, it's under my name. So if you could address it, thank you.
Call me tomorrow, we'll talk about it.
I'll get this in a second, okay?
Philip Quick, Hamtramck resident, 3 minutes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I was happy to see the revised animal ordinance on the agenda tonight. I encourage the council to pass it without further delay, item 7A on your agenda. As you know, I've been a proponent of one of the major sections of the ordinance, the section that commits the city to the humane practice of trapping, neutering, vaccinating, and releasing community cats. As we enter the winter, this becomes more important as we assist these members of our community. Passing this ordinance will show that Hamtramck is a compassionate city, as we should be, and will help our ongoing battle to keep the city clean. I also believe that this ordinance needs to be passed because this is council's job. Laws need to be updated and laws need to be passed. Delay is not good government. Not everyone will agree on every issue, and that is why ordinances can be amended, changed, and interpreted. The city cannot operate under outdated, unequal laws. I think this council correctly took up the challenge of revising the city ordinances, but that challenge isn't really met until the ordinance revisions become law. So I encourage the council to pass the revised animal ordinance tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Nasser Hussain.
Assalamu alaikum. First, I don't see any bills being paid to MPS. I don't know what's their reason. Is there a reason?
They're not always regularly anyway. I mean, they'll probably get some soon, but
Yeah, for the past like 3-4 months, we don't want to build it comes $1 million or something and make you go bankrupt or something. Okay, yeah, for the animal ordinance, unsanitary, barbaric, third world country practice, these are the racist people saying this. Same thing was said when we wanted to enclose the porches. You want to destroy Hamtramck, everybody will enclose their porch, it'll look ugly. It was passed 2 or 3 years ago and nothing happened. Same thing here, we could try it for 1 year, see how it goes. If what they say is true, I'll be the first one to tell you just rescind this ordinance and fix it. What they're claiming is lies. There is no professional treatment. It'll be for all religion, not just Muslim. If you have a different religion and you want an animal sacrifice, you can do it. It's been going on in Hamtramck for decades. People sacrificing and nothing happened. Even if they do it, they think they're doing it illegally. They hide it in the basement or the garage. But I think federally they could still do it. And if you prevent them, and this could lead to a lawsuit. You're preventing them from practicing their religion. So try it for 1 year, see how it goes. If what they claim is going to happens, I'll be the first one to come here and tell you to stop it. For the resolution for the land usage, I could comment on the public hearing, right?
You can talk about anything you want at this.
But I could talk later on the public hearing, correct?
You choose whenever you want to speak on that.
I'll have more time then. And that's it. Like, if you see most people who oppose this, they're mostly emails. They're too lazy to come here. Mostly non-immigrants. They don't want to destroy the image they have of Hamtramck, but I assure you and them that nothing will happen. Hamtramck will still be beautiful and liked by everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Nasser. Abdul Khalik, did you want to speak at the first one? Do you want to speak now?
Okay. But I'll speak later.
Yes. Well,
Yeah, I'm not going to speak now.
Okay. That's good evening. I'm here to talk about this animal slaughtering. This is our part of religion. This has been practicing for decades and is from our Prophet Adam started, and since then we are practicing. This is our part of religion, and if anybody try to stop it, we can go for the election for further. This is our part of religion, so we need to do this, and it's never been any destruction for this because people are practicing the same thing. So I advise is to let it go and pass it for them.
thank you so much. Mutahar Fadal, the American PAC, 3 minutes, sir.
Good evening. Hi, everyone. First, I would like to thank the city manager and the city clerk for running an easy and smooth election this year. It was, perfect and no problems was reported. Also, I want to thank the Hamtramck police for making an arrest to 2 individuals who was made a few robberies in the city. And I want to talk about the 8F about the selling the house inspection. As you know, the houses in Hamtramck is almost 1 year old or more or a little bit less, and that's going to cause us a lot of problems because people don't have enough money, and then if you want to sell your house for $30,000, you need $10,000 to $15,000 to fix it. If the buyer wanted to buy it as is, he can. If not, I don't think you should make an inspection because we had enough problems with the all inspection, all types. A lot of people are complaining, and that's going to make the residents you're going to turn them against you guys. So I'm not with that resolution to be approved. And on the 7A, I am with it. If the city is going to make tough laws or regulate it, like if you make a violation, it'll be like between 1,000 to 1,500 tickets. If we can't be responsible enough to clean after ourselves, I don't think we should get this opportunity. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Adam Al-Harbi, McDougall, 3 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to voice an opinion on the bike routes on Joseph Campbell. I think it's one of the dumbest things that a city can do, especially for a small city like Hamtramck, with very limited parking for businesses. The problem with the city, to be honest, is we tend to look at things and, you know, say, oh, this is cool, without actually going back to see how this would affect small business. That's very unfortunate for small business. I was planning on actually opening a business on Joseph Campo, right where the bike route was going to be. And now I'm just going to, probably cancel that project. Also, Hamtramck City Market is one of the smallest. I was talking to them earlier, and he's thinking about shutting down. They've been in business for 30 years, and they said, who's going to carry, the water, the large items? Who is going to carry that if they can't park right in front of the? And we don't have parking. Like other cities, they would have parking right next to businesses. They have just kind of like down the street on just businesses. We can't compare our small city with larger cities like Dearborn and other cities and be like, oh, let's have this. This is nice. We have to think of parking, just like previously with the meters. We introduced the meters to our city, now it affected small business. And on top of that, we have now these parking routes. What I'm trying to say here is that the city should consider small businesses before making decisions. And now they should consider not providing tickets to residents if they decide to park there. Like for now, like the whole winter time, there's no bikers on the street. And businesses now have to suffer from not having customers park. Anyways, that's all I have.
You got a minute.
I get a minute, so I just also want to voice my opinion on the 3-year, the Mohammed Sumair introduced the 3-year rental permit. I think I agree with it. As a landlord, it seems like I'm doing this all the time, And I was just speaking to Max, and thank you, Max, for being very helpful with some of the permits that I was obtaining. And because it seems like every time I'm always requesting permits, and also there's a late fee. Like for one of my properties, I have to pay $400 and then $300 late fee. It seems like an ongoing thing, but that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Faiz Isa, Evelyn.
السلام عليكم. احتاج واحد يساعدني بالترجمة شوية. اللغة عندي ضعيفة علي.
Adam will have. What is it? You need help. Oh, translating. Okay.
الشيخ هذا بالنسبة للبزنس، بالنسبة للخط الجديد اللي عملوه الأصفر، إنه يعملوا خط خلاص ما عادش عندنا زباين ما يدخلوش.
Yeah, they own the Hamtramck City Market that I just spoke about earlier, and he's saying that now he's getting very limited business because of the bike rides.
Yeah, الآن يعني بضطر نوقف في البزنس، بالرغم عمر البزنس دورية 30 سنة.
They've been in business for 30 years now. They're probably going to be more than likely closing their business. Hamtramck City Market, right across from Yemen Cafe. I'm not going to voice my opinion. He said he's going to leave the business keys here and leave because of the decisions that you guys make. Thank you.
Thank you. Mubarak, you gave me this with your name written on the back of it, but is that you telling me you wanted to speak right now?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
All right, come on up. Mubarak Mozeb, he's actually on the consent agenda to be appointed for Human Relations. 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. There's a couple of topics I just want to touch on. Concerning the bike route, I feel like maybe we could have thought it out. It sounded great in the beginning, but maybe we should consider, the small businesses. Possibly even just rerouting it. Maybe down Denton Street, there's not a lot of traffic. Maybe take it down, say, Alden, then come around down Holbrook on the side where there's no traffic allowed, and then reconnect it to the alleyway, the rest of the greenway. That's just one idea. Because it is, over a decade ago when we redid the downtown, we lost 75 parking spots. And I'm sure if we had a chance to rethink that, yes, it did beautify the city, but I mean, it did hurt small businesses. So we should reconsider maybe just giving, rerouting it another way. On a second note, just real quick, I'd like to thank Councilperson Amanda for her work in the community. She's posted about the Hamtramck mutual aid to to help benefit some of our community members. She got me involved last year with the snow removal project to help our elderly and disabled. And this year they're predicting the one of the snowiest winters in Michigan we've had in a while. And as we can see in Buffalo, they've had 4 to 6 feet, and it's not even December yet. So I would like people to consider joining and helping those in our community that can't really help themselves. Even just taking out the trash can be a hassle for them when they have, a foot of snow in the backyard. So if everybody, reconsider maybe even involve your, kids, cousins, whatever, it would be a great benefit to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Mohammed El Nisco?
Yes, ma'am.
3 minutes, sir.
Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Mohammed Nzeri. I live in Detroit, 9181. I was living in Hamtramck. I moved from Hamtramck March 2019. Because the police officer, they found me and found my child. My son is 20 years. When my son, he got a problem, the prosecutor, he said this person, he can send him to a jail to Lake, Indiana. I don't know how many miles. They get a lawyer. I pay them money for it. And you guys, I'm 55 years. Shame in me. Shame in me. In a drive. Fast and kill my children, 2 of them, and my wife. My wife, she has a diabetes. She has heartburn. Police officer in the city of Hamtramck does respect. Police officer in Hamtramck, all the time, they follow me. Police officer, every time he follow me, he catch me with my wife and my 2 children. Early in the morning, every day, I go to school. 7:35, that's 3 times, one officer, they catch me. When I go in school, the guy had it with me, and he puts his hand to my face, get your hand out, please be respect me, I give you my driving lesson. He said, I'm not your enemy. He said, I'm not your enemy, give me a driving lesson. I didn't care. They have to respect a woman next to me, my wife, she's 55 years old. And then I get ticket $1,065. I got a meeting for George 21, 8:35 a.m. in the morning. Before 8:35 a.m. in the morning, this person that I told him, you're not my enemy, be nice, I be respect the law, I be here since 27 March 1990 in this country. I'm the one that respect the law, I'm the one that like this country. I'm the law, obey the law in this country. I'm the person that obey the law in this country. Why you do that from me? What do you want from us? Leave me alone, I'm old man, 55 years old. Can you please leave me alone? I have 6 children. You want to give me a ticket? Give me a ticket. Don't hold me. Let me go to school. I don't want my child to get long. They say, why you kids light? And then I got a ticket, like a $405, $1,065. And then ticket in the morning before when I meet the judge, he waiting for me in Hamtramck and Limpopo. I was 27, I drive. I'm the person I've been in this country since 27 March 1990. When I got this big state in New York City, limousine, they expire, Mohammed Nzeri, they expire operation license for limousine, expired 4/04/24/2009. Second one.
Sir. Your time.
Oh, thank you. Second one.
Nope, sir.
I'm sorry.
You can ask, do you want your
Sure,
additional
sure.
minute?
Okay, no problem.
Do you want an additional minute?
No,
You can
sure.
ask the mayor.
And I'm the person I got no alcohol, I know how I drive, and they follow me, I don't know why, no reason. Can you please, any person to help me for that? I appreciate that, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that is all for the public comment.
Thank you. We move to the consent agenda, and this is approved in a single motion with no discussion. We have item A, approval of minutes from the October 25th, 2022 regular city council meeting. B, approval of invoice register date ending November 22, 2022. C, approval of pre-approved expenditure date ending November 22, 2022. D, resolution 2022-133, approving appointment of Mubarak Muazzab to Human Relations Commission. E, resolution 2022-134, approving street closure for Punchki Run.
Motion? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No objection? All right.
Mr. Mayor, may we take a quick moment to swear in Mr. Mozeb?
Sure.
Yes, step up, please.
Excuse me. Hand up. I, Mubarak Mozeb,
I, Mubarak Mozeb,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
the Human Relations
the
Commission
Human Relations Commission
of the City of Hamtramck
of the City of Hamtramck
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mubarak.
Thank you, Mayor.
Just wait real quick.
Look at that.
Cheese.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
All right, we'll move to the public hearing. We will start with item A, resolution 2022-135, approving second reading and public hearing of amendment to Hamtramck Ordinance Section 93.037 and 150.011, growth of grass and weeds.
Motion to start, please.
Motion?
Second.
What time?
7:40.
7:40.
Thank you. Public comment. Lynn Blasey, do you have anything to say on this one? Nasser Hussain, do you have anything to say on this one?
Yes. Could I do both or just?
I prefer each one separately because we'll have another one for the next one.
I think that the solution is to stop giving out tickets. It doesn't make any sense. It's too much headache, too much trouble. Just send a warning to them if you don't clean it within 2, 3, 4 days. City will does it. You do it. You charge them $400 or $500, and I assure you that will be the last time the city cuts it. Keeping it this way, it doesn't make any sense. You should switch, like other cities, they do the same thing. A warning, whether it's garbage or overgrown weeds, you have 2, 3 days to cut it, 4 days, whatever you want to give them. If you're not, you will do it and add it to your tax bill or to that. 100%, they will all stop. They will do it next time, out of themselves. They'll hire somebody to come every month and cut. Thank you.
Thank you, Nasser. Adam, are you speaking at this public comment? The public hearing, next one? Next one? Okay. That is all for public comments on this hearing. I need a motion to end.
Second.
Thank you. Time, 7:41.
All right. Do we have any further discussion with the city council? All right.
I still need a motion to,
I motion.
thank you. No discussion as, so you want me to go ahead with the
Yeah, go
voting?
ahead and call.
Councilman Rafai,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Al-Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Hassan.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-131 has been approved.
Thank you. All right. We'll move to the next one. Resolution 2022-136, approving second reading and public hearing of amendment to Hamtramck Ordinance Title 15, Land Usage.
Make a motion.
Second.
Time, 7:50.
7:42.
I thought. Lynn Blasey, would you like to speak at this public hearing?
Yes.
Welcome.
Hello again, Mayor and Council. I've spoken on this before. Some of my points will be the same. Inspections exist to protect tenants. They're not here to burden landlords. If you're a landlord that is responsible and takes care of their properties, then this shouldn't be as much of a challenge as it's been made out to be. This exists to protect tenants from slumlords, to make sure that we provide viable living situations for all residents, and loosening restrictions on people who rent, or on the protections for people who rent, is not the message we want to send. We have so many renters here in Hamtramck. I've been talking in the community to tenants and landlords alike, and one landlord that I spoke to said that if this passes, she would prefer that the time saved from inspectors, having more space between, that they address something that's even a more pressing issue, is our illegal rentals. And tracking down illegal rentals in our city, making sure that we bring those properties into compliance, because that's a huge problem here as well. And I think I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Adam Al-Harbi, you want to speak at this one?
Yeah, I'll speak on this one. So as a landlord, first, Lynn, I respect your comment and your opinion, but it seems that people think that you get an inspection, you only get an inspection once. When you apply for inspection, there's a re-inspection, and if there's still some outstanding items, there's another inspection. And it seems like it goes the whole entire 2 years, sometimes a year, It depends. But I do think that in terms of benefit for the city, if it's the inspection fee or anything, there's re-inspections, there's late fees, so the city wouldn't be actually losing as much. But I think personally, as a landlord, that's my opinion. Even if it's voted against it, I'm not going to take it to heart. I'm just telling you my opinion as a landlord here in the city, that I think a 3-year would actually be good for both landlord and tenants. Thank you.
Nasser Hussain?
I'll talk in English than Arabic. But I just want people to know you could talk in Arabic for the future. Need more participation. I think we should make it 5 years. It doesn't mix. The landlord has no power. As a tenant, let's say the landlord doesn't fix anything, you just withhold the rent. Don't pay him the rent. What could you do? Take you to court, spend 3, 4, 5 months evicting you. He will lose the money. No landlord wants to lose money. And it doesn't make sense. We already have inspections every 2 years, and the slumlords are still there. People are still complaining. So it has nothing to do with how much inspections you do. So 5 years, I think you should be changed to 5 years. That's the best solution. Tenants, if they don't get good service from the landlord, if they don't fix anything, just withhold the rent. You're not losing anything, and they has to go to court, and you will lose more money, and the court will tell him to fix. So that's what I say. بالنسبة لموضوع تأجير فحص البيوت المؤجرة، اقترح تحويل الأمر إلى 5 سنوات بدل من 3 سنوات. المؤجر هو لديه القوة عند صاحب البيت. يعني المؤجر بإمكانه أن يمنع دفع الإيجار، صاحب البيت يضطر يروح المحكمة، يقعد 3 4 5 6 شهور، والمحكمة تحكم إنه يصلح. فالإنسبكشن في الحقيقة هو طريقة لكسب الفلوس للمدينة، وهذه الأيام 75% تذهب للشركة و25% تذهب للمدينة. فإذا تم جعلها 5 سنوات، ما شاء الله الناس سيأتوا إلى المدينة ويشتروا بيوت ويأجروها وتنزاد دخل المدينة. وشكرا جزيلا على هذا الفرصة.
Thank you, Nasser. Mr. Mayor, that's all for public comment.
Does someone want to translate that for the
He
rest?
said exactly the same things he said the first time around.
Since you said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion to close, please.
Motion.
Second. 7:48.
Thank you.
No further discussion?
And now I need a motion to...
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. No discussion? Just vote.
Chief
Any
Vice
discussion?
I mean, I think we've all said, I disagree with it for a lot of reasons. I agree with most of the public commenters that this is a mistake, it's irresponsible, but it's pretty clear among discussions. We know what's happening.
Yeah.
So,
You want to make the vote, or we want to just make the amendment to make the section?
that's the vote. The
You
vote
just
for the
vote.
amendment.
Just make the vote.
Vote?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, can I add one quick thing to that? So I know there's some controversial points to this, but there is a huge section of the code that's being struck in addition to this, which we are cleaning up. So putting the controversial parts aside, we are cleaning up a lot of code with this revision.
You want to make the code for a section?
Okay.
No, it's okay. Just make the vote.
Ready, Mayor?
So go ahead and call the
Thank you.
votes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Hassan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski.
No.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-136 approved.
All right.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes, it's approved.
that is fine. 136.
All right, thank you. So we'll move to the old business. Resolution 2022-78, approving second reading of amendment to Hamtramck Animal Ordinance.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilor.
So I actually was planning to keep it really, really short, and then about midway through today, I decided to add a little bit more context to my comment, and so it got a little longer, so I apologize in advance. You got the long-winded version of me today. So the ordinance subcommittee worked really hard on this at the beginning of the year. We spent multiple meetings on this. We spent many hours on reorganizing this ordinance as a whole. So this was originally presented to the city on June 14th. So this was almost 6 whole months ago that we started talking about this ordinance. So at that meeting, we had multiple community members that came forward about the community cats portion. And then one of those residents actually followed up with some written parameters and suggested language that changed, that we were able to work with them and change some of the requirements to make it so that it was not that they could continue doing what they wanted to do, but that it was also safe, sanitary, and in the best interest as for the community as a whole, not just for one specific subset of the community. Now, we acknowledge that some of those recommendations we added and we rejected other ones. We did not take that as it was. We worked with what they brought to us. At that point, we brought it back to council. We had the second reading with the amended version, and another resident came and talked about a different issue that they had with this ordinance. It's been almost 6 months since then, and the best option that people came up with was to allow it any day of the year, any day of the week, with absolutely no restrictions. And in my opinion, that's completely unacceptable. So what I'm asking my colleagues to do today is to amend what's on the agenda back to the original language. So 90.4A and 90.5E back to the original language that was on June 14th. And then if someone comes up with a plan in which this can be executed with permits, which is something I've said multiple times during this conversation, if someone can come back with restrictions, with sanitary requirements, with assurances that there will be inspections, that the safety of the neighbors, maybe even alerting the neighbors that you're going to do it, the time and place that you're going to do it so they can protect their children from traumatic experiences. These are things that we can appreciate regardless of religion. And I think it's really important that we do that. And so with that, I'm going to end that rant and motion to amend 90.4A and 90.5E back to the original language from June. So with no mention of religion. 90.4A and 90.5E. And then that way something can have there can be discussion on it. There can be a first and second reading. If people want to bring it back, the public can have more input, and then we're done. So that's my motion.
I need a second. Thank you. Any more discussion on those? Or can we vote on the amendment?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I still want to speak about the original resolution ordinance.
We have to vote on the amendment first.
Well, I never get a chance to talk. Why you go the right way to the amendment?
We can talk about the amendment or not amendment right now.
No, I
once you
want to
motion-
speak original one.
Yeah, it's
This is my
discussing
right.
whether or not we should make the
No,
amendment.
no, we should not make the amendment because it is the original one. I still have to give the chance myself to speak about original one. Now I cannot even original one. I have to go the amendment. I might gonna go the amendment. Hold on. First I'm going to speak, Mr. Chair. Wow.
Mr. Mayor, your call.
I think he should be given a chance.
Yes.
We can just.
Yeah, whatever the mayor wants, but as for the rules say no, but if you want
Well,
to
the
suspend
rules
the rules, you're
I
fine
think that
with
he's,
that.
I think that basically he's discussing both anyway.
Both anyway.
That's
Part
it's
of it,
part of
so-
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, Mr. Chair. I'm the senior guys here. So from 2009, we had the original animal ordinance. There is no prohibition. Anytime anybody can do it, and it's still there. Second one, we had amended to give the permission, some of the chicken, even goat, to grow up. This city, Hamtramck city clerk never recorded that one, and it's not there anymore in the document. So my colleagues, subcommittee suddenly took the original from long time and tried to amend it with a lot of restriction. It came to the council. We have an agreement, some disagree. We talk about each other, and community members also came here, spoke about against that amended ordinance. One of the imam brought lots of document from the federal department, US law, with the paper and with the example of the not practicing Religious Freedom Act, lawsuit of the city couple of, he brought it. So that's why that day we postponed it, leave it as it is. So amended ordinance did not get passed. So as a city manager job, it was the second reading, he need to bring it up. He been talking with me like over a month. He's a subcommittee. He still wanna, or myself, I still wanna pass this ordinance since we started. I said, I don't have no issue with that. But I will agree with them what they brought it, no issue everything. But I'm gonna add one thing over there because we are changing. So only the religious purpose, experimental, one day with observation, I will accept it. And if you put that word, I will be okay with that. But he did not put the whole sentence, he put the word. What could be, I can use it for the whatever purpose, no problem with that. Second, lots of people speaking about the clean, safety, all those things. Clean is the halal food, is the clean food in the world ever we see. Everybody now going to be halal food because there is a more scientific, more clean, more fresh. And we understand about the clean things. We're not going to cut the goat right on the grass. There is the process we have. We have to ourselves to clean, and the process going to be there with some kinds of protection on top of the grass, And that's why we can take whole thing off, and we're gonna hire the couple of dumpster as the designated area. We're gonna make the community committee, observer committee with the city hall, and within 6 hours, we will remove the container from the Hamtramck city. So blood or anything not gonna drop in one drop in the grasses or the floor. It's gonna be carpet on top of the grass, and whole thing we'll put into the dumpster. That dumpster will be within 6 hours removed from that area. Observation committee with the city, if not, we'll get the ticket. Second, there's no question about it. No matter what, I take my kids to the Brown City, show my religious practice and their sacrifice over there. They enjoy it. They don't scare, they enjoy it. Second, the amendment, I'm talking like attorney said, from my colleague, religious word out and everything else gonna say. So right now, this original, what I have in front of me, we are given permission only the specific day. Now, amendment is coming again for every day, and we can cut, only taking up the religious word. So why we are first take the initiative, why we have the idea, change the animal ordinance. Now we are going back to there again. So why we wasting our time again and again, and residents coming and going, so it's over 6 months, it's going to be again 1 or 2 months. So I want to, against the amendment, I want to stick with my original amendment ordinance, what we have in the resolution today, what my subcommittee brought it few months ago. Now, amend only adding couple of words. That's all. So I'm gonna support this one, what I have in front of me, but I'm going to be against of amending again and again. That is my clear conversation. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilman.
I think the very issue with the proposed version that is on the agenda today is that it is only a few words, and that is what I'm trying to convey and trying to make sure that people know that there is a compromise. There's room for compromise. What is on this agenda today is not compromise. There are absolutely no parameters. There's no restriction on the day, time, location, or anything on where this can be done as long as it's for religious purposes. That means anyone who thinks that, their son is born, so they want to have an akika, they can do it in their yard. If someone wants to do it, there's nothing requiring sanitation. There's nothing requiring a follow-up inspection. There is no guardrails for this community to have safety and sanitation in the proposal here. So I'm saying remove it. If people want to come up with a safe, insane version that they want to propose, then we can discuss it as a community, if that is how they want it to be. This is a blank check. That's irresponsible. If we pass it as a blank check, that leaves it open, the doors wide open for anyone to do anything for any reason, as long as they can reasonably argue it's for religion. And that's unacceptable, and for the majority of the city, including most of the Muslims I know. And that's just where I'm at, and it's irresponsible to pass what's here, and so I am obviously very pro the amendment.
Mr. Chair, if nobody speak, I want to speak again.
Go ahead.
Okay, blank check with respect to my colleague. I understand the blank check. The amendment is coming the blank check. How? So, any day, anybody, any moment can cut it. That is the blank check, I feel. When I put a specific religious purpose, hey, why are you cutting today? You religious purpose, nothing. You cannot show Akika, you cannot show the specific day, you cannot cut it. So, I feel the blank check is the amendment, that one is the blank one. My original one right here, with the restriction, with the specific. That is the one. That's why I feel.
Thank you. Anyone else? want to speak?
Let's go.
If nobody else wants to vote on the amendment.
Yes. Yes, make the vote.
So I have a motion by Jakowski, seconded by El Samiri, to return 90.4A and 90.5E back to the original wording. Councilman Hassan?
You voting amendment?
We're voting for the amendment.
Yeah, no?
No. Councilman El Samiri?
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury? Back to the original.
No.
Councilman Jakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Rafai?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, amendment to 2278, returning section 90.4A and 90.5E back to original has approved.
All right. So this will remain ambiguous and until somebody else will.
Now we'll have to vote on the amendment as amended, the resolution as amended. So any other changes were done to the amendment, I'm pretty sure there were.
So just for clarification, the only changes from the original resolution was 90.004A, which added, except for temporary religious purposes in conjunction with a religious ceremony.
Correct.
That is now stripped back off of it. And section 90.005E, which is taking, the only thing was added was or for religious purposes, which is now back off of the amendment. And we are back to the original version that came back in, was it July or June?
It would be the modified one that was in July with the updated CAT.
Correct.
So now,
So now we have to vote
on the amended
as amended.
resolution.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I'd like to speak again, amended resolution. Okay, so this is the one, it's not the very old original one. This is the one subcommittee brought it couple of months ago. And that is the one, amended one is saying right now, right?
So
the what already been expanded, what you brought it.
There's some CAT amendments in this.
Yeah, that's only two words.
Not forget about that.
So I want to one thing clarify and want to let all the Hamtramck residents. So if we pass today amended one, so nobody can sacrifice no animal.
Correct.
Okay. So Mr. Hamtramck, all the residents. So right now amended one, you guys cannot sacrifice any goat, any sheep, anything, any day, any purpose. I just want to clear that one, and I'm gonna vote no for amended one because I will keep my faith and I will keep to Hamtramck residents to practice their religious freedom and religious activity. That's why I will vote no for amended one. Thank you.
Okay.
I need a motion to vote on the amended resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Any more discussion? Vote.
So we can discuss on the amended one now? We can discuss on the amended one.
You can discuss whatever you want on the resolution, but we are planning on voting on the amended
Amended one,
resolution. If there's anything else you want to add to it.
Well, sure I do. You know, everyone has been working on this animal ordinance for a long time, and I appreciate your time and effort you put in. Today, I was hoping that we will move on with these resolutions, you know, to respect the communities and the religious purpose. As you heard from the various residents that, you know, we wanted just to try out 1 year, see how it works, and then we can come back to the table and change it back to the original ordinance. I was voting for that. I was hoping this would be the best route, but amended one is not going to be respect to those who practice the religious and who's here today to support this. And the vast majority wanted to practice this sacrificing.
we have been doing it since Adam and Eve, and we go out a way in another city to do that, and we take our children to show that this is the sacrificing sake of God, Allah, and the smile, and this wouldn't cause it too much of troubles, like my colleague said, that we have a system and processing to do so. We don't just slaughter animals in a yard and anyway, we do it improperly, that we don't take the contamination to house and any contamination to anybody. So we follow the instruction and procedure according to our religions. So I would appreciate it if we had just tried out once, see how it works. Most of the respected community leaders and imam, wanted to have this animal sacrification. I want to echo to this that if we do pass this back to original amended, we want to be able to sacrifice any animals in our city, and that is not fair to those who wanted to have it in a religious practice. Thank you.
I just want to make sure that it's extremely clear that the point that is being made in passing this today as is would be so that people could come back with a plan so that that can be discussed. What I'm hearing from my colleagues is that they want to experiment with the health and safety of the community. And it's not something that is required by the religion to do it at your home. There are multiple other options, as many people in the room today have explained to people. This is not something that is necessary for the city of Hamtramck. It is not necessary. And therefore, we really need to protect the residents of the city. And if it is going to be allowed in the future, there needs to be a plan. It needs to be in writing. It needs to be in a way that residents can review it, can make comments on it, can make sure that it is something that is okay with everyone in the city on how it is going to be done. Not just whether it's going to happen or not. That's what I was expecting to come to the meeting and see today, was parameters, was to see that there was permits involved, that there was going to be inspections, that there was going to be a plan, but there is no plan here. And if there's no plan, then how can residents even give accurate input? Because I talked to people yesterday who thought that allowing it was only going to be for Eid, because they were told that it is only allowed for one day. But tell me, where is that in writing? I don't have it. I haven't seen it. Have you? So we need to make sure that these things are clear and transparent, and that's something that most of us have run on, and we need to make sure that we're staying in line with that. And if we're going to bring religion into decision making, that's a problem, and that's a line that needs to not be crossed, and we need to stick with transparent governance. And that includes having things in writing, and if we're going to propose something, then we need to be able to see it. We need to be able to read it, and we need to be able to discuss it in precise words so that there's legal backing for it. So if someone doesn't take all of the religious precautions, that they aren't going to come back and say, well, it wasn't one of the rules, you can't give us a ticket for it. That's not how it works. We still need to be able to enforce sanitation, and the way it's written, it's not saying that.
So from what you just said, Councilwoman, I can understand that if they specify that it's only for one day, you will support that?
I can't, because that's illegal.
That's what you just said.
I know, but I'm saying that in the community, I would,
you
people,
said if it's clear for one day.
Let me clarify. So people in the community were in support of this under false impressions. They were under the impression that it was written for one day. It is not written for one day, and we can't do that legally. We have to treat all religions fairly. We cannot rule as a theocracy. Secondly, I said that people were under the understanding it was one day. And if it was written somewhere, then we could have it. If that was the proposal, if a proposal came in today and it was said, we propose that there's a permit established to allow this for Eid, and there's going to be cleanup within 12 hours, and there's going to be these type of certified inspectors coming in to make sure that sanitation is there. Those are the type of things that need to be thought about by this desk.
All right.
And that did not come.
We are back to point zero, and it's as if it was before. And I know that some people who are willing to sacrifice in the future, they have been doing it in the past, and we never had any issues like people
But
complaining
there is a
about health
difference
issues.
between giving
I understand,
permission.
but we didn't heard that there was tragedies in the past, or it was a disaster when they were doing it, and it's the same people who are willing to do it in the future. So we are exaggerating that the problem will be bigger. I'm with you that we can come up with a compromise, something clear that can be. That's what I said from the beginning. I want to compromise, but I want to make sure that the city will not prone to or subject to a lawsuit. Now you just ignored that whole fact. We are paying for some cases $30,000 a month for the housing case for the attorneys only. We've been doing that for the past 48 years, if you don't realize that. So if we go for a lawsuit again, we keep spending so much money for just going into these lawsuits, while we can compromise and come up with a middle solution that protect the city and the residents. But we didn't spend time discussing the compromise. We either say either my way or the highway. One side wants it to be just open, one side wants it to be prohibited completely. We never tried for a compromise.
With respect,
Mr. Chair,
Mayor.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Okay, okay, we did not brought any plan. Why you did not brought the plan with the amended one? You just amend it, going back, not doing some. Okay, so still we have time, Mr. Mayor. I like to amend, to put the specific word, only if that.
That's illegal.
So now it's illegal. Few minutes ago it was legal.
I never said it was legal.
Well, that's what you're saying. You were saying there is no specific one there. So I still can, that's why I want to bring the illegal legal. That's why I put a religious purpose. So let me tell you guys, my subject was the applied math. I did the lots of operation research and the logic. I still establishing logics in the Ford Motor Company, a lot of logic. I can argue with the logic gently, lawfully, 1 million. So, if I am very good with the community, why I did not brought the amended one with the plan? Like a mayor said, good thing. My way or highway? We are going that way. So, okay, we want to stop, we want to compromise. I want to amend the ordinance right now. If it's lawful from my attorney, on request of my colleague, I want to put it specific, I want to add that one.
I'll make the second.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilman.
Yeah. See, 3-4 months ago, they have a subcommittee. I didn't need to make the whole resident confused. We didn't need to make the all resident the confused. This is a confused. If somebody they want to work with the resident with the seating, we get make the subcommittee before to come out to the council. Before to come out. Why I didn't take it off before the council's agenda? I don't like to be the people who make big shot, big confused every day. We need to close this issue today.
Mr. Chair.
Make it to close not even 1 day, not even 1 hour. They didn't accept like that one.
Mr.
People that want to work with the resident, make the subcommittee. 3-4 months ago, sit down with the subcommittee. People they make a resign. People they say I'm gonna cover the people the subcommittee. Nobody come show up.
Mr. Chair.
We didn't need the show. We didn't need us confused. No more time. Close this issue.
I think let's just vote first instead of just.
Yeah.
I don't want to say.
So here is the one, Mr. Chair. Attorney and my city manager and clerk. I just brought it amended ordinance.
Where are you putting the word in?
Well, exactly to the specifically that area religious purpose.
But there's 2 sections.
Yeah, there are exactly 2 sections.
94.4
Yeah,
A and
both sides.
95.4.
Go ahead, can you manager please help us?
So, Councilman, I'm not tracking exactly what you want to do.
Make a lot of confusion.
There is no lot of confusion. Only one word, a specific it there. That's all.
I just chatted with the city attorney real briefly when we were talking about this, and it's against his advice to carve it out specifically for Eid only.
Right, because you're gonna be
So
specifically allowing it for one religion.
Thank you,
So
thank you.
Exactly.
So my colleague was telling there is nothing for one day. So this is against the law. That's why I brought it as a religious purpose. So my colleagues right now amend the ordinance, no exception, zero chance to the religious practice. That is the ordinance right now on the floor. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilman.
Mr. Chair. First of all, it's sadly that, everybody wants to think it's my way or the highway. This was postponed twice. If one of my colleagues really wanted to do this and come with a plan where, where we let these individuals who do practice slaughter to be in the subcommittee, be part of the subcommittee and come with a plan and say, listen, we had people, individuals, residents that came to the city of Hamtramck to our council meetings and said, hey, we want to slaughter. Give us a date. You should have took the attention, the time, and be either whoever wants this to be happen to come to the subcommittee, be part of the subcommittee, and work with these individuals and see how can we come with a plan. How can we do it in a way where it's allowed, it's not gonna be mess, it's not gonna be no issues. No resident should be, if someone does it, if there's a plan, if there's a way of doing it, if there's a permit, even the neighbor who's living to this neighbor that's willing to slaughter will not have an issue because there's a permit or there's a way of, you know what, I'm not gonna have no issues. Nothing's gonna be on my backyard. A smell's not gonna be there. But going back, back and forth, you should have been in the subcommittee. Talk to your council members who are in the subcommittee. Say, listen, please, I'm going to be part of it. I resigned for a reason because two individuals that really wanted to slaughter, and you should have been part of this committee so you can work with and come up with a plan. So we don't sit here again and argue again and again and again. So adding one word is not enough. Me personally, I don't have no issue letting individuals I slaughter. But like he said that he goes to Brownstown, but he doesn't Hamtramck. I do it in other cities too. But if you do want individuals to actually practice this, and you're fighting for this, you should have came with a plan. You should have came with a plan where you could have convinced your other colleagues. You know what? Let's work on this plan. I think this plan will work. You want to do it for temporary for a year? Have a nice plan and bring it up to council. But just to add a couple words. And then say, let's move this. Well, I heard subcommittee wanted to bring this back. We postponed it, and I clearly said in the last council when we spoke about it, if there's going to be a fuss here about this, bring it back to the way it used to be in the beginning. And we should have voted on that and left it the way it was in the beginning. So that should have been passed, and we should have been done with it.
All right.
Mr. Chair, hold on.
One second, please. So the subcommittee can only be 3 people.
Yeah.
And there's no way we can all be in the subcommittee. And we cannot support everything the subcommittee say because everyone has a different opinion. And that's why we have to bring stuff to here to discuss.
Right.
And take into consideration the other side's view. I really thank you all for being in the subcommittee. I know you spend so much time doing that, but it's not, the outcomes of the subcommittee should not be absolute truth, and we cannot review or we cannot say comment on it, and that's why we bring it here and we have to voice our concerns too. Like I said in the beginning, I said it in the beginning when Jim Allen was here. He recommended and he told me outside that the city can be subject to a lawsuit if you prohibit religious rituals completely. He said it to me clearly after the meeting, and so I am concerned about that. I'm worried about that we will be subject to a lawsuit.
I was just going to add that's absolutely true in my opinion. I think that we would open ourselves up to a potential lawsuit. I don't know if it'd be a successful lawsuit. I've done some research in the matter. It's not exactly a resolved area of the law, but if the council wanted, I could write up a memo that, I could do some research about how other cities handle this issue and basically give you guidelines of how to stay within the law and afoul of the law, or how you're going to go afoul of the law potentially with certain ordinances, if that was the questions or if you needed guidance. But I do, if you wanted my opinion as well, think that prohibiting it completely, I don't know the success of the lawsuit potentially brought or the amount of people that would join the lawsuit. I do know it could be costly to the city even if it wasn't successful. So that's just something that you should keep in mind potentially. But I do believe I could probably provide you with some guidelines or some referrals of how others do this, because I'm sure this isn't only the city of Hamtramck that's dealt with this issue before, and I haven't looked into other cities, but I could.
All right. So that's what I think too, that we should only decide on this issue after we, after we try to come up with a compromise between the two sides in a way that we protect the city and protect the citizens as well, and take every person's concerns into consideration. We are not going to ignore any concerns or voices that we heard today, either whether it's from the public comments or from the city council members, but to just take the opportunity and just vote against something and just ignore half of the community. That's what I said in day one when we discussed it, that we should come up with a compromise to...
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I do want to be clear that I did speak to 4 of my colleagues about requiring a permit. I did speak to them, and I did try and find that compromise. I did have those conversations over the past 6 months, and they have gotten us to the point that we are here today. I think delaying the vote on the amendment on the table as well as the full ordinance is a mistake, and that continuing to push it on is not going to result in any differences. These are conversations that have been happening, and I don't know how I could have made it any more clear to my colleagues that I could not support something that did not have regulations attached to it. And that's where we are. So my proposal to my colleagues is we vote on the amendment, we vote on the ordinance, we pass it as is, and if someone has an issue with it, they can bring back a plan and we can talk about it. We're not going to experiment. That's in reverse order. We cannot experiment. Bring a sane, safe, sanitary plan to us. Show us how it's going to maintain safety and sanity in the city, and then we can discuss whether or not it is allowed. If we're not talking about a plan, we can't talk about it. And I've suggested the plan multiple times. I've suggested it, and it was not taken upon me. It's not on me. I don't want slaughter allowed in the city. I don't want a permit. It's not on me to write a permit system. If my colleagues wanted it, they could have run with the suggestion and they chose not to. And so my suggestion is we vote on what's here today and we pass it and we close this issue for the time being.
So, Mr. Chair, suspend the law. We expend a lot of time for this. So, yeah, well, go ahead now.
Actually, what I'll need you to do is,
We still have to
I
vote.
need you to withdraw your motion.
Yeah, I like to draw my amendment because of lawful is not correct. So
now we're back to the...
No, I
original
will not get
amendment.
second here.
Second.
Okay. So now the amended resolution, here's the one, okay. Long story short, we all like to compromise. So that's all I'm hearing from my colleagues. I like to compromise too. Discussion, a lot of discussion happened. Even the subcommittee, we talk, 2 of them talking, no, I want to stick with that. So I go up with their talk, it's still same thing happening. So if we want to compromise really, I want to table it today. We're going to have a plan. Attorney going to bring some idea. Because if we vote on it right now, the door getting closed.
Close this issue is better.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I like to go for both. Thank you. Because we expect.
What are you doing?
We like to vote for it right now.
Oh, so you're no longer doing a motion to table?
No, they're not.
Mr. Chair, can I have a minute?
No, sir.
Council, can I have a minute?
No, sir, I have to follow the law, sir. Okay, I have to follow the law.
Okay, so if we, I just want to ask our attorney, if we vote on it today, it doesn't pass, someone come with a better idea, can we bring it back to the table?
New resolution.
Yeah,
It'll be a new
the whole process
resolution.
again.
A new resolution.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Chair.
I mean, the thing is,
Don't take your time.
we can vote on it. And I know those people who wants to allow are the same people who have been doing it for a long time, and we never had any issues. They are the same people who will be doing it. I would not be doing it, even if it's allowed. And I know 99% of the people will not be doing it. It's too much headache and efforts, and so it's up to you guys. Now you can go ahead and vote on it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we are voting on the amended resolution 2278, returning the 90.004 and 90.005E back to the original. Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Councilman Jakowski.
Yes.
Councilman Hassan.
No.
Councilman Al Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
No.
Mr. Mayor, amended resolution 2278 has been approved.
Thank you. We'll move to the new businesses now. And the first one is resolution 2022-137, accepting resignation of Adam Al-Barmati.
Motion?
Second.
Next election.
All right, discussion.
Mr. Chair. You know, as I have known, former Councilman Adam Al-Barmati for the past 11 months, good guy. We will miss him as a council member here in our chamber. He showed, the citizens that he was able to, put time and effort to help those in need in the city of Hamtramck. It comes in the end that he decided that, he's not able to serve like previously as a council member because of either, business or travels that he had to move from the state. I want to thank him so much for the work that he did, for the opportunity to run for this position. It takes time and effort to run for these kind of positions. As people see that we waste time and sit here for hours and stuff. And I wish him all the best. And I hope that he always continues visiting Hamtramck and try to help others if he's able to, even though if he's in a different state.
All right, any more discussion?
No.
All right.
Mr. Chair, no, I did.
Yes.
I was thinking maybe Councilman wanted to speak. Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to give a big shout out to Councilman Adam Al-Barmati for serving those several months on the council. He was elected by the people, and I think he made the right decisions with due respect and the due diligence that his time will not be available to this council and this great city of Hamtramck. So I think he made the right decisions to move forward, and I wish him to the best and over. And I'd like to see the new councilman joining us and making the city more flourish and make this city better. Thank you.
Thank you. So, anyone doesn't want to speak, we can go ahead and vote.
Thank you. Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Hassan.
Yes.
Councilman Jakowski.
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 22-137 approved.
Thank you. Next one is resolution 2022-138, approving the appointment of Thank you. All right. So the next one is resolution 2022-139, approving first quarter budget adjustments.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
just real briefly. We do these throughout the year, every quarter. It's just essentially trying to keep the budget in line with the actual cost of the city. There's a few changes here. Obviously, the controller budget is out of whack because of the lack of the CFO controller and the necessity for a contractor. We're moving some other things around. We've got about $500,000 in grant monies that have come back in that we recouped from former grants. And just some various other modifications. Nothing crazy here, just trying to keep everything in line.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I just have one quick question. I was looking at the, it's the Fund 267. It seems to say established, but it seems to have money in it. So I'm just looking for clarity on what that one is.
Which sheet? Right here?
There's Fund, it's page 2. Funds 266 and 267 both have it. In the notes, it says established budget for 2023, but then there's money in it. Is that just saying this is a new account? Like, what is?
Those are forfeiture fund accounts. We actually just received a whole significant of monies in for that. I would have to dig into that a little bit. I didn't anticipate the question on that, and I thought
Yeah.
our finance director was going to be
Sorry.
able to make it. I can certainly get back to you on that, but
Yeah.
those are both forfeiture accounts, and we receive monies throughout the year into them. There's significant amount of money in those budgets, in those accounts, actually.
Yeah, that's why I was just confused by the notes. So that's it was.
We actually just received well over $1 million into that
Okay.
account recently.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. You go ahead.
Councilman Hassan.
Yes.
Councilman El Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski.
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Resolution 22-139 approved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next one is Resolution 2022-140 approving sale for residential development of 2278 Goodson.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, I have Ms. Faulkner here in regards to that.
I just wanted to share that the proposed buyers here today for 2278 Goodson. This is part of the residential lot sale program that you've all heard about many times. All the application and everything was complete. You have it in your agenda. So this is a single-family home that is being proposed to be developed on this land. Just wondering if you have any questions about this one.
My mom really likes the design, so.
I'd just like to add that Ms. Faulkner and her department are really hustling, trying to get these lots sold and to get buyers involved and houses going. So there's been a lot of movement there.
Awesome.
Beautiful house.
You like it? I know, isn't it beautiful? Look at that house. Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, you can go ahead and vote.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski.
Yes.
Councilman El Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Hassan.
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-140 approved.
Thank you. Next one is Resolution 2022-141 approving site plan for addition to 10200 Conan.
I make a motion?
Second.
Ms. Faulkner again?
Hi, so we have reviewed the above site plan with the help of a planning consultant. This version that was uploaded is the second version of this site plan, the one that's available on board docs. I believe it is ready for approval, and so does the planning consultant. It will be renovated to be a commercial shopping center. In the first version that is not uploaded, there were a few things that needed modification, such as a modification to the facade materials, as well as exterior lighting. These have been addressed and are reflected in the site plan today. So the consultant and myself do recommend approval of this site plan.
And where is it located?
The address is 10200,
It's between Bellman and
It's the old
Trowbridge?
88th Avenue bar.
It's in front of
Oh, across the street, the east side, I see the corner.
Northeast corner. Yeah, right across from us.
this one.
It's right next to my building.
Across.
And is it an
10200 Conant.
Is this an individual or an investor?
The application came in from the builder, Antar Raja, and that is who is my main point of contact.
Oh, yeah, I know. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead and vote.
Councilwoman Jakowski.
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Councilman El Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Hassan.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-141 approved.
Thank you. Next one is Resolution 2022-142.
Three.
No, this is the way we for.
The one we removed.
Yeah, the move.
The remote one.
Unless you guys want to.
43, yeah. So that was F. We removed that. So the next one is Resolution 2022-143, approving acceptance of the 2022 election security grant.
Make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk applied for this grant and got some funding, got us all new laptops for election. Good thing, just accepting it.
Any grant for?
It's a reimbursement grant, so it's a security grant that the state offered for the municipalities. So they offered $1,500 per precinct to purchase security items for the election, and laptops were under the security of the election, so we vouched to go that route.
Maybe we have to look for another grant, Wi-Fi to improve. So we're trying.
We're throwing money at that. I don't know if we can do anything with it.
Okay.
Ready to vote?
Yes.
Councilman Hassan?
Yes, you put me in the spot.
I did. Councilman Al Samiri?
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury?
I'm thinking, yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Rafai?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-143 approved.
Thank you. All right, the next one is Resolution 2022-144. Council authorizes and direct the city manager to send a letter of support to the Hamtramck Park on behalf of the city of Hamtramck.
Motion.
Second.
We have Mr. Mijek here, also our assessor, and serves a dual role as the Parks Conservancy Chair.
Yes, so please don't look at me with my assessor hat on today. I'm coming to you guys as the chairman of the board of directors for the Hamtramck Park Conservancy. So we are asking for your letter of support. We are applying for a grant for up to $2 million to do upgrades to Veterans Park. These upgrades includes putting in bathrooms and restroom facilities east of Keyworth Stadium, irrigation, leveling, and resodding the field around the historic Hamtramck Stadium, including putting in and installing lights and electrical, and possibly a PA system for the stadium itself. So we open the stadium for evening, very few nighttime going to the games in there, makes it one of the better ballparks in Southeast Michigan. The bathrooms would also make Veterans Park available for an all-day event. So between the bathrooms that are going to be installed through the DNR grant around the baseball stadium, we'd like to also install bathrooms and restroom facilities on the east side of the park as well. Makes it for an all-day event space. We're working with the DCFC, Friends of Hamtramck Historic Stadium, the city schools, and others. We have also other grants that we're working on, so we hope that the parks itself, you'll be seeing in the next 2 to 3 years some major renovations and changes to the park. So we are asking for the city's support for this grant application that we hope to submit within the next 2 weeks.
Just to clarify, that's another $2 million into the park. So everyone's doing everything they can to bring this park to the best it possibly can be.
Thank you.
So the previous restrooms will be on different side?
Well, there are previous restrooms, so there was a plan, the city that the Parks Conservancy are doing the matching funds for the DNR grant for the western side, so right just west or south of the ballpark, there's plans to renovate those bathrooms and install bathroom facilities in there, so not too far from the tennis courts. So just east of Keyworth in that concrete pad that was just put in, we were looking at a plan and working with DCFC is container restrooms to put in there as well. So there'd be 2 restroom facilities in the park on both sections in there, so it would be accessible at both sides of the park. There's the gap in between around Keyworth, the narrow end, but this way you'd have access to restroom facilities at both sides without having to travel very far.
Would also be in support of the stadium, the Keyworth, in other words, so that when they have games there, they can use that facility.
So I have to ask my question since it was in the review that I asked it last time. Are there going to be foot baths? It's a serious question. Because a lot of times when people are like, when they're going to pray in public or something and they have to like do the wudu ablution, then there gets water everywhere. And so having a separate foot bath can keep it just cleaner for everyone.
That is something that we will bring up. It's going in there, so these plans are still kind of being worked into motion. We're still working on the fluid. This is a very quick ask that we have of you. We met with the Wayne County Economic Development team I pitched these 3 proposals hoping that they would ask for one to go through. They told me to put all 3 together and put these as a park improvement project.
I won't complain about that.
So we're putting this, like, I found out late October, early November about this, so we're trying to put this together very quickly. This is something, Amanda, if you can email me some of these ideas that we could try to put in there as well, to put into the proposal between this and now the DNR grant as well, that I saw Max writing it down as well. So we can try to put this in there and work with your suggestions and stuff to incorporate this into our plans and our grant facility, so.
A lot drier floors if they are there.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah.
It's something we didn't think of, so yeah, so please, and thank you, and if you can send me some information, we'll try to include it in the grant application as well.
Like one of those mop sinks, right? The ones that are low to the ground? Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I want to echo to Councilman Jablowski that she mentioned this before, I believe, about it, beginning of the year for the food bank, to add to this Conservancy Park, the Veterans Park. And I think it would help us, the community that goes there. Will this be available before you guys start renovating this park to us, how it's going to be done and whatnot, like the plan?
What be, the plan? Well, the plans were, as again I said, it's very quickly. We're working with the certain contractors, engineering firm right now, and we subcontract out as the Parks Conservancy with the city grant writer. We're trying to put all this together quickly to apply by the end of November, so by not next week, the week afterwards. So this is all coming in here. We're working with Hennessy Engineering right now to come up with the ideas. We've got the sewer maps, the other stuff that come in there. Working with DCFC and the Friends of Hamtramck Historic Stadium to come in here. So I don't have anything available at the moment, but once I do get those from Hennessy Engineering, I will forward them to Max to forward to the council as well.
Yeah, so we're still trying to formalize all the grants we got for the first batch. We're not even done with all the parameters of just satisfying the grant requirements to finalize that. So Hennessy will be forthcoming eventually with the actual plans for the bathrooms in more detail. Right now it's still in the rough preliminary stages of, okay, this is a square where that's going to be a bathroom. So at some point we will be coming back.
And then, I know it wasn't asked, but just to answer any questions that might come later, the reason the Parks Conservancy instead of the city is applying for this is the grant, they have never fully funded a grant, and this is the Parks Conservancy would be the matching donation from our grants and the other donations we have from other things. So this would be at no cost to the city. We are reimbursing the city cost, and this is no match grant from the city. The Parks Conservancy would be doing any additional or matching grants for the completion of the funding of this project.
All right. So one time I attended one presentation for former Wayne County Economic Development Director, and there was a presentation for DTE where they said if you have any parks anywhere, Hamtramck, Dearborn, Detroit, and they need lighting, they do it for free with the equipments and everything.
We are currently in discussion with DTE. They also want to be, just as a further thing, this is not part of this grant specifically, but DTE wants to be a further funder and partner into this grant, the Parks Conservancy and the grant itself, so both sides between the city and the schools. We are currently in negotiation with them of including DTE as a bigger partner and sponsor of the grants, of the park itself. So we are working with them currently right now in discussion with how much more and what they can also help us with at the Parks Conservancy.
All right, thank you. I'm just saying if we can get that for free, we can use the money for more other creative things.
Yep, we're working on that as well.
All right, thank you so much. All right, I guess we are done with discussion. We go ahead and vote. Call for it.
Councilman Rafai?
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Chaudhry?
Yes.
Councilman El Samiri?
Yes.
And Councilman Hassan has stepped out. He is unavailable to vote. Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-144 has been approved.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just real quick, he said that his supervisor texted him. I don't believe he's coming back.
Yeah, he said he has an emergency. So
Okay, so I'll put him as exited at 8:45. I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Next one is Resolution 2022-145, request to support the City of Hamtramck application for EDA Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant.
Make a motion?
Second.
Mr. Mayor, Mrs. Faulkner is on this one. This is her department.
Hi, Hi, thank you so much. So I am happy to share about this grant application. We are in the application stage right now. The grant is for 2 items. It is actually for hiring an economic strategic coordinator to work in my department for 3 years. They would be focused specifically on strategic projects like brownfield redevelopment rather than the day-to-day happenings of the CED department. It would be funded by the federal government through the EDA. And we haven't received this, but we're basically asking for your support so that the city manager can send in a letter of official support. The reason that they want this letter is because the city would be promising a 20% match to the program. So the whole program is $408,000 over the period of 3 years. That covers the person's salary as well as a professional economic plan that would be done by a consultant. The match amount is $81,780. That would be in-kind staff time. So basically 30 to 40% of my time would need to go towards these economic recovery programs, as well as about 200 hours of the coordinator's time would also need to be dedicated to this program. So therefore, we would need to promise that if we get this grant, the city will promise that staff time to this project.
And you have the capacity to dedicate that much time to this project and still maintain the rest of your...
I believe so. I actually do work on these type of projects already, and we were gonna originally go for more, and we reduced it because I thought personally I can't spend 50% of my time. I can't have the coordinator spending 50% of their time. So we lowered it significantly. We lowered our ask from the federal government so that we thought it was a reasonable amount of time. Because we already work on these kinds of programs in terms of working with the DDA for downtown redevelopment, working with Main Street communities to get our Main Street fully functional. All of those are kind of sub-projects to this type of work. Brownfield redevelopment in terms of, that's something I have experience in but haven't really been working on since I started working here. So we'll just kind of support those kind of projects. So I do think 35% is reasonable.
Councilman Al-Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski.
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-145 approved.
Thank you. Next one is Resolution 2022-146 approving Memorandum of Understanding with Friends of Historic Hamtramck Stadium for events programming.
Motion.
Second.
So last year, we had a memorandum of understanding in regards to the program. Council approved it. It went well. Our initial plan was for the Hamtramck Parks Conservancy to take over the program from the park. Unfortunately, due to some developments, they're not in a position just yet to do that. So we're proposing that the Friends of continue the programming for the 2023 season, and they're going to make a one-time payment to the city for the privilege to do it. So, pretty easy one.
So, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So I'd see a budget impact, so this budget, this will affect the budget adjustment?
It basically is we're gaining $3,000 from it. I put in there, the past revenue of what they had given to the city, just, so you could see that they paid prior, and that moving forward, they're gonna pay $3 grand for this season. So, it's a gain.
It's a gain. I just want to clarify that. Thank you.
No?
Yeah. Anna.
Oh, hello. I'm here. What are we doing now? Greg, stop interrupting me. Okay. This is for the memorandum. Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Councilman Al-Samiri.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-146 approved.
Thank you. Next one is Resolution 2022-147 approving purchase of 2973 Council, 2976 Dan, and 3000 Dan.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution to approve the purchase agreement for those 3 parcels. Combined, we hope and plan for it to be our new DPW yard. Currently, the city of Hamtramck is leasing land outside of the city in the city of Detroit at the tune of over $20,000 a year. Obviously, there's initial upfront cost with this, but in the long run, the city will save money. We'll have our DPW yard back in the city. Geographically speaking, it's right next to Veterans Park, which will also enhance the security of the park, generally speaking, with city employees coming and going. It'll provide a significant amount of more space for equipment, police vehicles, DPW vehicles, any spare things that are going on, and just generally enhance the city and the ability to serve the city.
Thank you. I told you, there's a guy who claims that you already bought this parcel.
Didn't happen.
He told me twice already, so.
Oh, is that the email I got earlier?
No, that's something different.
Okay.
We'll talk
Somebody
about
else he bought it, maybe he heard that the city wants to buy it and he wanna go ahead
I
and.
think he was trying to
just to-
sneak in there maybe.
Just to add, basically, that's not possible, but I negotiated the deal. It's for the assessed value, so we're getting a good deal on it. And also, there are two separate probate estates, so it's kind of complicated to get to this point. So it wasn't an easy just transfer of property as whoever might be alleging. They actually had to go through the courts and get approved by two different probate courts. So we went through that process and here we are.
I also should add that this is the vision of my predecessor, Ms. Anger. She worked on this for quite some time, so I'm happy to bring it to you guys for bring it to fruition.
All right, thank you. All right, let's call the rules.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Councilman El Samiri.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2022-147 approved.
Thank you. Next one, and before the last one. Resolution 2022-148, approving purchase of 2023 Ford F-250 Super Cab 4x4 pickup truck.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Diamond's here to speak on this. We clearly haven't seen enough of him today, so we had to sneak him in at least at some point.
I know, we missed him at the last one too, so.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you know, that started before myself with Rodney Johnson and with City Manager Kathy Anger, that we've been trying to change out our fleet. We have some older units, 2003s, 2005s with a lot of miles. This was put in our budget when you approved it back in the beginning for the fiscal year. Was set for $75,000. Luckily, I got everything underneath, well belonged with the plow package, light package, with our bed liners and everything for under that price. So hoping that you'll approve it tonight. So we have we'll have a third brand new vehicle out for our plowing and our salting needs.
So we expect a better services in the next snow season?
Well, I thought you guys were pretty happy last year with our tires, so I don't know how to answer that question. Right, there is always room for improvement. Yes, we were already out over the weekend. We had 6 hours of salting over the weekend. So.
All right, thank you. Yeah, you did great last time.
Last time,
we always look for.
So Diamond on top of everything. All decks, all hands on decks.
Thank you. So we can go ahead and close on.
Thank you, sir. Councilman El Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski.
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-148 approved. New pickup truck. Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you.
All right. Last one, Resolution 2022-149.
Motion.
Canceling the December 27th, 2022 regular city council meeting.
Second.
I don't know.
Mr. Mayor, traditionally, council cancels the second meeting in December. It always falls between Christmas and New Year's, and frankly, staff is very thin. Hopefully, that's why I'm not cursed by this, but hopefully, it'll be quiet during that time.
All right.
Councilwoman Councilman Chowdhury. Nope, you wait. Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Jakowski.
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Councilman El Samiri.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-149 approved.
Thank you. All right, we're done, and we move to the reports, and we're gonna make it very short. We attended some events in the past 2 or 3 weeks together with some city council members and city manager, city clerk, and I remember the Arab American Chamber of Commerce, we were there. And then the Access 50th anniversary was last week. It was a great event. And I attended the event that took place in the alley behind the Almond Cafe for the completion of the mural of Joe Louis Greenway. And in between that, these days we watch soccer games for the World Cup in our free time, of course. And so, yeah, we've been busy with other stuff, and last time we didn't have the meeting November 8th because of the election. But everything is going well, and that's all for me. Mayor Pro Tem left, so there is no report for him. City Council reports, if anyone wants to say something.
All right, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I was nominated as a speaker today. Okay, so I have a few different things. I will keep them really, really short, but like one is we had the trunk or treat. We haven't had a meeting since then. It was a really good time. I hope to see it again next year. I think maybe we could try and coordinate with the rec department and have a unified one and have like one huge Hamtramck Halloween blast instead of having multiple things, but you know, we can see what happens over the next year. The SEMCOG Legislative Task Force that I was sitting on has concluded, so that policy process for SEMCOG's legislative policy for the next year has been finalized to a certain extent. It's out of my hands at this point. I have no more input other than what other SEMCOG members have. I did meet with the People's Water Board a few weeks ago, and they were talking about a new RAP program that's coming out, or a new water affordability plan that's coming out. And so I was trying to get a little bit more information about that, but I was not able to get a hold of their contact in the meantime. But I wanted to make sure people are aware that there is additional programming coming out around water affordability. So keep an ear out for that stuff coming up at future meetings, the Facebook page, that type of stuff as information rolls out. I went to a few different dinners. I went to the Joe Louis Greenway bike lanes, and then the bike lanes. I like that they were there. I didn't know that they were getting painted, but those have been in planning for like 4 years now. Those were approved in 2018. So one of the things I am excited about is that studies show that bike lanes going through business districts actually increases business for small businesses. And so I'm actually looking at these bike lanes as a positive thing for our business community, in line with studies that have occurred. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about is the city manager posting is posted. It is there. The job description is out there. If you know anyone who is eligible, who is qualified, who would be a good fit for the city of Hamtramck, please make sure that they see the application and make sure they know how it is. That will be open till at least January 10th. We also, the subcommittee, so Samiri Chowdhury and I are on the subcommittee for that, and we drafted a tentative timeline, acknowledging that we have no idea how many applicants are going to be and how long this process is going to take, but we wanted to have some basic ideas for what that was going to look like. So it's tentative, and then we also have a tentative like rubric, a scoring rubric for processing the initial set of applications to make sure that we are looking at those objective qualifications first and foremost as we're processing those. But you'll see more of that stuff in upcoming meetings as it's finalized by the rest of council, and yeah, that's my update. So.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Councilman Chowdhury.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight and putting your thoughts and comments. It really helps out a lot to understand where your stands, what your perspectives are. I participated in party, the trunk and treat. It was fun. I want to make it short. I wanted to give my solidarity for the Ukraine, what they're going through. Those brothers and sisters, is really, really horrific to see what's happening there. It's unbelievable.
Another solidarity for Palestine is this week is the solidarity for Palestinian. We are with them. They've been bombarded. They've been destroyed. Their homes. They've been moved from their own land. It's unacceptable. It's very terrible things happening in those countries. What was the name? Madam Clerk, Ellen Manaski made a comment regarding that event that occurred in the Warren.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I want to say clearly. I was invited as a public spoken person to that event occurred in Warren City at a restaurant. I was reminded again before this meeting that to be participating, it was a public open meeting regarding that one gentleman from Warren City has made a comment on the council racism against Bangladeshi community. Really, he used a very profanity, derogatory word, a racism word against the Bangladeshi community with his behind, and looked back to the audience to kiss my behind like that. And the audience were in the audience there, and instead of addressing to the council and the mayor. So I was there to speak up as a civic and civil rights movement leader. Okay, I speak about the people, those who are disrespecting the communities, they're discriminated, their equal rights, equity rights are taken away. I speak up on that. So I was there as a public to speak from the floor. So I asked to be spoken, and I was denied as non-Hamtramck residents or Hamtramck person can speak in this meeting. And from there, the thing started. So it wasn't fair to the other folks that said that you cannot tell someone that from other city not to speak as you invited as an elected official. So I was speaking on behalf of the floor that you need to let the people speak up if you have an open public meeting. So some guy started something, but I behaved very nice. I was pushed. So I did not push back or fight back, but people started fighting back for me. And many comments came in that they disrespected the whole meeting and they did not follow the meeting quorum. So it was defending myself. So I did not do anything that to disrespect the meeting or anyone else that were trying to fight with me. I was not. So anyway, it happens sometime. And the second thing to everyone watching World Cup, it's wonderful timing for many of us. We enjoy World Cup every 4 years. Great played by the Saudi Arabia this morning. Even though a lot of people support Argentina. With this being said, I want to say good luck to USA team tomorrow. They're playing against England, and I'm looking forward to it. Of course, Friday. It's Friday. Friday. Okay. And that's all. Thank you. Have a good holidays.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody that showed up here today. Just a reminder, as we know, snowing is coming, and we had a couple, maybe an inch or two, a couple days ago. Just to remind citizens and business owners, please shovel in the sidewalks, put some salt. It's really getting bad, and it's freezing. So just a reminder, everyone, please shovel in front of your house or business. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so done with the reports, and we will move back to the second round of public comment. City manager, sorry.
We have a CFO. Well, the CFO isn't here today. He couldn't make it. There are some documents uploaded as far as the financial statements and overtime reports. But as far as my report goes, I do have some sad news. Former city manager Bill Cooper has passed away. I'm not sure who in here actually still knows him. I know Greg probably did. Councilman Rafai probably did. He served a number of years ago. He actually was in service prior to me becoming chief of police, right around that time. I don't have the funeral arrangements, but I do know it's on the west side of the state. Additionally, as just for the public's sake, we did remove the CFO resolution. Our candidate last minute decided he did not want the position after all. I can't really speak to his reasons, but we subsequently removed it from the agenda because of that. We are in the preliminary stages of planning with Michigan Works and potentially having access help as well to get some youth programs, paid youth programs going on throughout City Hall. It seems like most every department head here is interested in participating. Everything from the assistant city manager to the assessor to the PD are interested in getting some youth. We're excited about that and hoping it works out well. And lastly, in regards to the Joe Louis Greenway, that is a long time project. It's been going on for many years. It's just finally coming to a head where it's getting installed. We did recently put out flyers to all the businesses affected in that area with the description of what's going on, so on and so forth. And we are more than happy to work with any of the business owners over there to help in any way we possibly can. I know in some other businesses we have put out signs for 15-minute parking only. Perhaps we could do that on the side streets right next to them to maybe help that. But we'll have to explore each one specifically and see what we can do. That's all I have other than closed session.
Nope, public comment.
That's all I have.
Somebody said closed session.
I said other than closed session.
Oh.
One more thing, Max, on those bike lanes, you know how they have the separation between the lane where they drive and the bike lane? Are they gonna put those
ballards?
Yeah.
Yes.
So people can know?
Yes, they're gonna be ballards all the way down.
Are they gonna be the white ones, like the white plastic?
I'm not
ones,
sure.
you know?
No, they could have.
It's fine.
We're not
We'll
sure
cover it
of
another
what,
day.
yeah, we're not sure what's going in right now, but yes, there's gonna be, in that safety zone, there will be ballards to protect.
Snowplow targets.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, now second round of public comment, please.
Lynn Blasey, 2 minutes. Agenda items only, please.
Hello again, Mayor and Council. First, I'd like to congratulate Mubarak on your appointment, and also to the new homeowner who got approved for the project on Goodson. I think investment in our city should always be encouraged, and it's going to be great to see that house come together in the coming years. I would like to say that I appreciate Councilman Khalil Rafai for encouraging people to participate and engage via official and appropriate channels. This is in regard to the animal ordinance. One thing that I think gets lost is that there are appropriate channels to make effective change. And when we engage in those processes and we're all familiar with those processes, we can actually get work done more efficiently. And we can, come to those consensuses like Councilman Jakowski was saying, set up parameters for, agreed upon legal ways to accomplish what we're looking to accomplish in the city. And I'd like to thank Council for removing religion out of politics tonight. That is a very slippery slope. Introducing the idea of religion and talking about it at meetings is not a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Nasser Hussain?
Amanda, do you know what's the First Amendment in the Constitution? Do you?
I do, and it's freedom of religion and freedom from religion.
It says Congress, no freedom from religion, shall not make any law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. You cannot ask us to have permits to practice religious ritual or an inspection to come and make sure it's correct. You have the right to make sure the place is clean, there is no innards in the garbage, give a ticket, that's your right. But to say you have to have a permit on inspections, that reflects badly on you. We will instruct our people. They could legally do it. The Constitution gives them the right to. And if you give them a ticket, we'll be happy to take this and take the fight to the Supreme Court even. What you're doing is wrong. The Jews in Southfield, they kill thousands of chicken each year. You could check with Southfield. And they practice their freedom. Nobody said anything to them. I know if some religious Jews come here and do this, you wouldn't say no word to them. But you're found an easy victim more than Muslims. Second thing, this is for Rana. People send you accusation and you just read them like this. This is libelous. I can send you a comment tomorrow that Rana is a thief, she steals. Would you read it? You're opening yourself to libelous accusation. If somebody wants to complain about city services, I see no problem
Which
with
comment
it.
are you referring to?
About
I think you're
him,
only supposed to
about
speak
me.
about agenda items, so
Yeah.
keep it to agenda items.
No, but in general, this is advice for the city to avoid lawsuits. Not everybody who sends you a comment, you just read it.
You've stood up and spoken against council members. What's the difference between this
I'm a
person?
person, but you don't know it's true or not.
Again, this can only be about agenda items.
Thank you.
Sorry, but it can't.
Thank you. Conrad, welcome.
Once again, on behalf of the Park Conservancy, I want to say thank you for the letter of support. Also, thank you for the support for the Friends of Hamtramck Historic Stadium for the programming. The Parks Conservancy currently is trying to do more focus on construction, so having them focusing on events is a great help to the Parks Conservancy itself at this moment. If we do get approved for this, it will make the event planning a little bit more difficult because we do plan on having construction start as early as next year if we get approved for some of these grants that we have going forward. And then hopefully you'll be seeing a little bit more of us and some more changes at the park over the next 2 to 3 years. So thank you once again.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, that is all for public comment.
All right, thank you so much, and we will.
Closed session.
Closed session.
Motion.
Second.
Time, please.
9:14.
You guys want to take like a 5-minute break?
Yes.
Will this be a long?
Shouldn't be.
But then again, attorneys are speaking.
That is a valid point. Is it multiple? Yep. Is it?